Can I ask you a question?
The Bolton Ink Effect.
Welcome to
Bolton Ink Effect Podcast!
where I'm your host, Louis, and she is...
The other host, Bridget. What a knob. What knobs? Hello, Louis.
Hello, my darling, how are you?
You have asked me that about 16 times today.
I know.
And I'm absolutely fine, I promise you.
Are you?
Yes.
Which part of fine are you?
The top end of fine.
The top end of fine,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I'm great.
I suppose.
Today I'm grateful for the fact that I can breathe. I'm grateful that we live in this beautiful country. I'm grateful that my child is loving school.
It's,
What are you grateful for, Louis?
I'm grateful for sitting opposite this desk and recording this podcast.
Sitting opposite this desk. Why
Opposite
is
you.
Is the desk very nurturing to you?
Very nurturing.
I'm so
Because I said it in the previous podcast, one of the short little links that I posted was me gripping the table so hard because I asked you for what you expected of me.
Yes.
And it was a complete moment of vulnerability, but I felt that the desk anchored me.
So I see you have a relationship with the desk then. And also we're far enough away too.
Can I have my microphone box, please? Thank you, because I can see that you're just going to open and make a noise with it.
So, Louis, I've been thinking quite a lot about the direction that this podcast should take. And so I'd like you to be open enough to do an experiment with me. So, would you do me the favor, please, of just centering yourself and taking a deep breath into your stomach, calming breath, and putting one hand on your chest by your heart and one hand on your tummy by your sort of solar plexus. Okay, and yeah, close your eyes. Okay, relax your shoulders. Yeah, relax your whole body. And I know this is a bit of a challenge, but just let your mind be at ease. Let the thoughts come and go, and just take a moment to find your center. And now I'd like to ask you to find a really beautiful memory, one that infuses you with love. Kenzie's hand in yours, a nighttime hug, feeling Juno walking beside you, whatever it is that brings a deep sense of love into your whole heart. And now just feel where that feeling is, feel where it goes, feel it wherever that feeling is. And now the next thought I'd like you to have is standing, looking out at the ocean, for example, with your feet in the water, beautiful day, the sun's warm on your shoulders, the faint sound of the gulls as they fly around, the clear smell of the air. And just center that feeling in your body and tell me now how that makes you feel. You can open your eyes. How does it make you feel?
A lot calmer.
Okay.
A lot more settled.
Okay.
A lot more present.
Perfect. So calmer, settled, and present.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'd like to share with you some of the highlights. The Epstein-Trump files, all of the names that have been raised, all of the issues that are going on around the world, Ukraine, Andrew Mountbatten, who is now part of a Soviet conspiracy, being on Instagram and seeing that one of your contemporaries has done something more than you've done, seeing that on Strava, seeing that somebody has ridden further than you, more often than you. And how does that make you feel?
It's funny. Like I'm literally watching you outside of my body after having just done the breathing kind of exercise. Because my first split-second reaction was like, and then I literally let it go.
Okay, so that's what we do all day. We have these moments where maybe we get a sense of being in our body because we're walking from one room to the next, or we're outside, or we connect with somebody's eyes and see a smile or whatever. And then we plunge ourselves back into social media and we plunge ourselves into the headlines and we watch the news and we find out all of this information. And it does our bodies absolutely no good. But we let our children do it, we do it ourselves. And so social media has become such an embedded part of how we relax, how we disappear, to take our minds off things that are going on around us, the devices we take into the toilet, the things that we read at night. And I know all the wisdom says don't keep your phone on at night, and don't listen to it, don't read your phone and the blue light, etc., etc. But we still all do it, and we let our children do it. And so this feeling that we constantly have is one of high adrenaline. And there's a certain amount of fear. And I guess we can't deny that things are happening in the world. It's a very, very uncertain time. And so as humans who are intelligent, and as humans whose basic instinct is for survival, it's natural that we look around us and go, well, what is actually happening? But the thing that is so important is that we keep remembering to ground ourselves. And when you're grounded, like a tiny little experiment like we've just done, it's so much easier to be clear about your intention for yourself and for the people around you, your intention for the day, your intention for what you want to achieve. And there's lots of talk at the moment about that we've come into the year of the fire horse. And so that's another potential thread that your mind goes on that says, oh, all of these things are going to happen and everything's going to speed up. Well, things are speeding up already, but it's how you sit in all of that and how you stay centered in all of that that is going to make the difference, and just being aware of where we are.
So a couple of things.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for the little breathing exercise in the beginning, because it definitely does ground one and brings us into this space. So for that, I'm very grateful, and I appreciate you doing that, actually, because it can be quite a scattered thought process for both you and me. I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here.
Go.
For a second, and I'm not disagreeing with what you have said about social media and the constant bombardment of information. If you think about a previous generation,
Yeah.
our parents' generation, where there was no social media and no cell phones, they relied on TV, newspaper, and radio. Those three dominated audience attention. They had the market share of audience attention. There were more ads bombarded at them than we have today, based on the fact that they had the media attention, and the big houses and the big players could do that. So today, with the advent of technology, it feels like there's more, because the dissemination of information has been democratized. So every brand and their influencers and their audience are bombarding us with things all the time. And it's been democratized in a way that anyone can get onto social media and share and sell something. So my question, or should I say my realization with that, is we're very quick to demonize technology, and we're very quick to demonize social media or attention media. And we forget that history, it's happened all the time. It's always been there. It's just that now it's become so prevalent because we've seen a behavioral change in our kids and in us. And we're longing, let me use our language, I long for a time where it's just a little bit quieter or a little bit more still. So you started the second part after the little breathing exercise that we did with the bombardment of information and all the stuff that's coming out. And you can either allow it to enter your sphere or you don't. Personally, I choose not to engage in that content. The right content will reach me somehow. Whether that's through a conversation or whether that's through seeing it somewhere, how I choose to react to that is a very valid point, which you highlighted earlier. So what do you do to avoid those
pitfalls?
Yeah, pitfalls, because also in our relationship as parents to Miss 14, soon to be Miss 15, and the relationship with ourselves, you try and implement certain strategies for yourself and then try and shift them down onto myself and Miss 14, which sometimes backfires on you because you try to create an environment which protects you. In order for you to have a strategy that says, I can't handle this, I need whatever the case is. There's nothing wrong with that, because I accept that it's a two-way street and sense of communication, but what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and I'll tell you what works for me and what doesn't work for me.
Yeah. Okay. So a few things. Number one, are you statistic?
Are you glad that you're that side of it?
No. It's just sometimes I feel like you get this like preachy thing on, and it really winds me up. But I'm going to not
take
let
a deep
that.
breath.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take a deep breath and center myself. But I do need to ask you a few things, because I never take anything that you say as truth. Not because you never speak the truth, you do, but I always like backup. I never take anything anybody says as gospel truth. So, number one, were our parents bombarded with more ads? Do you know that statistically? Yes or no?
Yes.
They were.
Yes.
Statistically.
Yes.
There's been historical data.
Yes.
Okay. So that's quite interesting. Were they bombarded with news as much as we are?
Yes.
Really, as much as we are?
Yes. It was always there. Newspaper was the primary source of information. So was television.
So those folks
in the
worked.
1970s.
So those folks worked all day. So when you were at the office, you didn't really have access to your mobile device that sits next to you on the phone for 8 or 9 hours.
Correct.
So you're somewhat protected, and you probably share news with your colleagues. You go home and you're making dinner. You don't have your device next to you. You may listen to the news on the radio. I think there were news broadcasts in the morning, in the afternoon at 6, and then maybe at 11. So there was definitely less of what was getting into the brain than what there is now. Okay?
I'm not disagreeing with you there.
Also, with things having sped up so much, the level of catastrophic events is much more heightened because everybody has access to a camera and anybody can put that anywhere for anybody to see. So I fundamentally, I think, disagree with what you're saying, that generation had as much bombardment as this generation does.
Okay.
To add to that, and I don't want to sound preachy, but to add to that, there's an algorithm on Instagram and socials that says, let's feed this person a picture of a puppy. We're going to get it all soft and doughy, and then the next thing is an ad, and then it starts to ramp up. And then there's a picture of something soft and warm, and then it ramps up again. So there's this constant settling into state, and then there's a bit of news or there's advertising, and then they're settling into state. So you're always in the slightly heightened and hyper-aware state. And that's you can't deny. I mean, there's enough data that supports that. So
I'm agreeing.
So when I was saying what I was saying, are you saying you disagree that there's less today than there was, or that there's more?
I think there's exactly the same amount. It's just the way that people access information or information gets passed on to us has just been amplified because of the device that you have in your hand.
So it's the same. You reckon it's the same? Are you sure? Are you sure you want to stick with that?
No,
I'm not. I am trying to challenge you. Obviously,
and
I am.
you are challenging me.
But
it was a different time. Like you see
see
the old pictures of the people on the bus and on the train. What were they doing? They were either reading newspapers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just swap that newspaper out for a device.
Yeah, potentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is that it's a different time and different thing, but it's always been there. But we demonize it now because of the problems that it seems to be creating. But there's a lot of good that's also come out of it.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll agree to disagree.
Yeah,
how about that?
Disagree.
Okay, and that's cool. That's okay.
And so you don't think that the exposure that our generation of children is getting is potentially harmful to them?
I think it is harmful because I don't think necessarily that your brain, up to a certain point, and don't quote me on this, but what's it, up until 16, that you can't actually make a discerning information.
I think that's to your mid-20s. There's a slight risk adjustment that happens in that growing brain. So, but up until they're 16, they're very open to influence.
Yeah. So the bombardment of information because they're sitting, and we allow it as parents, but I don't think we need to demonize any one of those things, because I always seem
definitely not demonizing it.
So let's be clear. What is the problem it's creating? for you? What do you have the problem with?
What I was demonstrating is something that I think you may have misinterpreted. What I was demonstrating was that in that sea of chaos, you can find moments to be absolutely calm.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
Yeah. That's kind of the experiment.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
We went down all sorts of rabbit holes there.
But it's interesting. So are you saying you think social media is good for children? Is that actually what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
What are you saying?
But it's got a reaction out of you when I say,
No, but I mean, how can you be so blind? How can social media be good for children in the quantities that they're absorbing it? I mean, are you not seeing what's going on around the world with this children, with the new generation of kids?
I'm witness to it, yes, but I'm also part of the problem because I allow it.
Well, I think we allow it to a lesser degree in our house. Well, if I guess if I had your backing, we would allow it to an even lesser degree. So when I try to put those rules in place, I don't do them.
Who's the one who decided to give Biz 14 a phone?
Oh, okay. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And when did we want to give her a phone?
When she was 16.
When she was 16. She's now
15.
She will be 15.
She will be 15.
But we got it at the beginning of whatever she was.
For her...
Before her 14th.
Her 14th birthday.
Okay.
13th birthday.
Because she didn't want to feel left out because all her friends had. And we felt that would put too much pressure on her if she didn't have a phone. So we copped out.
Good point.
We copped out.
Possibly. Or
played out this scenario, Bridge.
But wait. Did we cop out? Or did we say, okay, that's what all the kids are doing? That's one thought. She belongs to a technical generation, or generation that's embedded in technology. That's another thought. So she didn't have anything on her phone that was going to cause her any harm. I mean, she wasn't allowed Snapchat or TikTok or Instagram, or she didn't have any of those social things on her phone.
Yeah, look, I think one caveat here was I think Miss 14 is fairly well adjusted in terms of her consumption based on some of the other folks around. She's not perfect. None of us are perfect, but we strive to. So what's the answer though? I mean, just ditch it all. No, I'm curious. How do we find the balance? And yes, you did the exercise in the beginning.
I don't think there's one answer for everybody.
No.
I think that there's a growing awareness that social media is having a massive impact on our children, and a lot of
negatively.
Negatively.
Not positively at all.
A lot of us don't really know what to do with that.
Yeah.
So
the jury's still out.
So parents. So we send our child to school, and they looked at after school. But most parents, in order to pay the mortgage and pay the rent or whatever, have a full-time job. So what is your child doing when she gets home at 3:30 to 5:30 when you get home?
Yes, I mean you're talking about a systemic problem.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally we want them what?
I'd like my child gardening, fishing.
Slave labor. Yeah, I hear you. But I do think sometimes you live in a utopian world, which is not. No, come on, Bridge, which is not necessarily based in reality. You do.
She's not going to garden or fish. That's just. You asked me what would I like her to do. Yeah. That's what I would prefer her to do. I'd prefer her to be down at the estuary finding shells. That's what I would prefer her to do.
And she does do that.
She does do that.
You know what I mean? So that balance that you talk about, I think, is instilled through role modeling.
Yeah.
And through conversation.
Yeah.
And actually finding out what is making her tick. Yeah. No pun intended. And constantly monitoring ourselves and her. It's been around a while, but I think we're still navigating this whole.
Yeah, very much so.
This whole world.
Yeah, and
I don't think you and I or anybody really knows what's going to happen. I mean, you've got the advent of AI, etc., which is a whole nother plethora of information and challenges. But to your point, going back to the beginning of this podcast, where you said, just take a moment, and you can do it right now by just taking a breath in.
Exactly. Just breathe in and breathe out, and find the center. Because there's a whirlwind that is going to be going around us, because everything is really sped up. And I don't think we can deny that. There's so much that we're all being exposed to.
What are you
from
so concerned
banking.
about when you say speed up? Because it hasn't really sped up. Time is just carrying on
I
the
think
same
it
thing.
has.
But for you, I'm asking for you. What?
So for me, AI takes leaps and bounds while we sleep. And that's going to change the whole face of how society interacts with their business, themselves, their future, their finances, their stocks, their properties, and absolutely everything. 10 years ago, who even considered that we could that we could send data centers
Into the cloud.
way out and beyond into the universe? I mean, who even considered that? Self-driving cars is now not even a oh my God, really?
So what's the answer
normal
for
thing.
you? How do you
There
navigate
is no
it?
answer.
How do you navigate it?
I don't have an answer.
Give me something that you actually do to help yourself navigate that. Because I can see that it actually creates an energy and a negative connotation for yourself, or something that you're not quite sure how to navigate, and that's okay. But what are you doing to help you?
So a few things. So LinkedIn, Facebook are off my phone. I never go onto Instagram anyway, so that's not a major. I have Snapchat because that's how Kenzie talks to me when she's after school. And so for me, my phone is now really just a point where I can either listen to a talk on awareness or God or whatever.
Do you have the phone? Do you scroll through your phone at night?
No.
Not
No.
every
You
night?
know I don't. You know I don't. The phone's next to my bed, check the weather for the morning, make sure my alarm's on, make sure I've booked gym, bang, off it goes.
Yeah. And I've become much better at that as well. I mean, I don't.
Do you scroll on your phone in the morning when you open your eyes?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Do you know one thing that I can tell you from a wife's perspective, and I don't know if any other couples feel that, but it's the most insulting thing. When the first thing your husband does when he opens his eyes is check his phone.
Okay, so
It drives me mad. And I've told you this before, but alas, you keep on going.
But you know that I'm checking.
Yeah, whatever. You're checking the date on your ring and checking that you slept well and what your oxygen to blood, whatevers are, whatever.
Okay.
It's a snapshot, bro. It takes you like 2 seconds to look at that.
So noted.
And then I walk into the room and you're like, I'm just checking the weather.
So
But I
noted.
can see that you're flicking through Instagram.
So noted.
But anyway, it's
No, it's a valuable. It's
your
thank you
choice.
for the feedback.
It's your choice.
I will endeavour to change my ways.
Actually, this isn't a shit on Louis session. I promise you, it's not. So, what social habits do I engage in that drive you mad?
No, you're perfect.
There we go. That's what I keep telling you.
Jesus.
You're allowed to admit something, Louis.
No, I mean, look. No, I mean, you. I think your concern is more the long-term effects of what happens to our children. I use that term generally.
Yeah.
And being as good a parent as you can be by navigating that and what that looks like.
Yeah. And there are things that we aren't even qualified to talk about.
Correct.
Like,
yeah, no, absolutely.
the paedophilia that occurs, the incitement of violence, the self-harm themes, the depression
But it's
themes,
even amongst, I mean,
all of those.
With the brief conversations that I've had with Miss 14, it's the pressure that happens in the various age groups.
Enormous.
And I'm very cognizant of that fact, but at the same time, those pressures are not necessarily understood within the age group.
No, they're
why
definitely
they're
not.
doing something.
No.
So that's where I'm saying the self-awareness, the self-esteem, and the self-confidence of that individual child or adult comes into play with being able to discern what is right and what is wrong and how much is going on. Because, I mean, even in amongst, us adults, we know it's a problem. And everywhere you look, people are, buried in their phones because it's easier to look at your phone than engage in a real
Or to do
situation.
nothing.
Or to do nothing.
And
exactly.
doing nothing is the moment of contemplation.
And that's an interesting point, is something that I have been aware of through the holidays and obviously coming into the new year, is is that what you've just mentioned, that art of contemplation, the art of being bored. I've mentioned it before, but being able to sit down and just being okay with doing nothing. And it's amazing what happens after a few minutes. I mean, you've got to persevere. It's not easy. I think it's a skill almost these days to be able to sit down and just and contemplate.
Agreed.
And whether that's, noticing something around you that you never noticed before because you're not engaged or your attention is not downward focused, it's upward focused. And whether that's, like a flower in the garden or an airplane coming past or the geese flying by or looking somebody in the eye and having a conversation for more than 30 seconds.
But we're not wired to be taking in that amount of information. We haven't changed that much the brain hasn't changed at all.
Evolutionary.
Yeah, in the last 100,000 years. There isn't even a new crease or wrinkle in the brain. It hasn't got bigger, it hasn't got smaller. So the same brain that operated and got people to survive back then is the same brain that we operate in now. The same limitations. But we're just bombarding it constantly. I mean, think about what this poor attention span, this poor brain undergoes on a daily basis.
And it just wants to survive. I mean, it's a survival
And sometimes
organism.
it just needs some quiet. It just needs to tune out.
Sure, we did a rabbit hole there. How do we? So let's figure this out very quickly. And what?
You can't figure it out quickly.
No, okay, all right. But for you and me, what do you need me to do? What would you like to see change?
So I think actually you and I are on such separate and individual journeys at the moment that I've tried to stop noticing the things that annoy me, like the scrolling in the morning. So if that keeps you happy, you carry on. That's kind of where I'm at. And I think that's, we're just both really focused on who we are and how we're appearing in this new year and this new time, and this phase of humanity that we've chosen to be in.
That's heavy stuff, man.
No, I don't intend it to
No,
be.
I feel like
it's born now.
I agree, but I just feel like that's I feel like it's a stepping away from each other. But
that's okay.
I hear what you're saying in terms of just focusing and knuckling down on what our individual journeys are.
Yeah.
Yet we're still together being able to do that. But I appreciate the feedback about the scrolling. I'll stop the scrolling.
And we can't try and stay clawed together. You've just got to, and that's part of loving somebody. Just go and do what you're going to do. I'll do what I've got to do. So that's how I'm wrapping things for the moment in my head.
Should we leave it there?
Let's leave it there.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Bolton and Cafe.